And welcome back to the Daily Wrap. I'm Joe Concha along with my co-hosts Rick Unger, Heather Hansen, and Brad Hirschfield. Smiles, everybody, smiles.
Smiles.
Have you heard the head of the Boy Scouts says it's time to end the ban on gay scout leaders?
We must deal with the world as it is, not as we might wish it would be. The status quo in our movement's membership standards cannot be sustained. We can expect more councils to openly challenge the current policy.
That's Boy Scouts President Robert Gates. You may recall he helped end the military's Don't Ask, Don't Tell policy as Secretary of Defense. Gates says no change in the policy would be made at the national meeting, but he raised the possibility of revising the policy at some point soon to allow local scout organizations to decide they want to allow gays as adult volunteers and paid staff. So, feeling I'm going to know the answers on this, but I'll ask the question anyway. Should the Boy Scouts change their policy, Brad?
I think they should, with the caveat that Gates also gave in that speech, that local chapters, for religious reasons, who object to it should have the freedom to not go that way. I think this is Gates at his best and could be scouting at its best. It's the kind of principled pragmatism that calls for maximum inclusion with total respect for people's particular religious values.
Heather, you think this will be another Memories Pizza moment, that if you are a local chapter in a pretty religious town and you say no to this, then suddenly you'll all be labeled as homophobes because protecting your religious freedom is suddenly taboo in this country?
I don't think so. I think that there's two issues in play here. I think one is really interesting. He is doing what the Supreme Court tried to do, in that allowing the states to decide, and so that way people could grow into it themselves as opposed to having it forced upon them. Unfortunately, or fortunately, whatever you may think, things move so fast that the Supreme Court had to back off. I think he also anticipates that this Supreme Court ruling may well say that people's sexual orientation makes them a protected class, and then they won't have a choice. And I think he pretty much said that in some of his statements, so that then he's getting ahead of it. Let's make this decision now, because then we're going to get lawsuits and we will lose.
Are you surprised that Robert Gates is the president of the Boy Scouts?
No. Oh, actually, I knew that he was.
I did.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't. I'm not going to say it's a jump down. It's a very important organization, clearly.
Yeah.
But it was just, I had to do a double take when I saw Robert Gates as the president of the Boy Scouts.
I think
he ran wars and
it's
stuff.
It's not his full-time job.
Okay.
I think he's the chairman.
He's not the executive director.
Right.
He's the chairman of the board.
Yeah.
But I think they're very related. He has always been about creating great citizens and love of country. And that is at the core of scouting. So I think it's a beautiful place for him to evolve to, actually.
By the way, Heather, that's right. Heather stole my fire. Because I was going to say, in another 2 weeks, this is a moot conversation.
It is, right?
I think it will be. Yes.
Yeah, I think that's what he's anticipating anyway.
That's interesting. Again, that Gates made that jump. I mean, I know it's a big issue.
Citizenship. Think citizenship, think service. Do it this way. Scouts are soldiers, but before they enter the service. It's another form of national service that tries to evoke the best character in the service of the country.
Scouts or what? Before they...
In others, imagine a Boy Scout.
I was a Scout. I didn't go in the service.
I was too. It's a different story, but okay. But imagine the same...
To do my best, to do my...
Right, and that's what you want from soldiers and from citizens.
I was
Sure,
indeed.
do my best and do my best.
Wow, what level did you get to? Are there levels? Because I clearly wasn't.
I think I went down 2 levels. I'm not...
Really? Brad, you were one as well.
I had a minus
all
on
this
handicap.
really started when Eagle Scouts, that's the highest level, were denied Eagle status because they were out gays.
Right.
And people began to say, you know, it ought to be okay to say to someone, I don't agree with your sexual choices or your biology. That's a fight we're not going to have now. But it shouldn't get in the way of acknowledging that you're actually a fine person serving your community and your country. And that's actually what happened. Once that happened, it all starts to be accepted.
Don't you
in a
think
good
it's
way.
odd that this issue has never come up with the brownies? I mean, there are gay women, no doubt, who have led brownie groups.
Oh,
for sure.
And
for sure.
it's never come up. What's that all
Women
about?
are so much more evolved, that's why.
See?
We don't fight about these
What's
things.
that? I mean,
Well,
Everybody's
there's no question that gay maleness in the culture evokes all kinds of fears and concerns that gay femaleness doesn't. And that's just, it shouldn't be that way, but it is that way, and I think you're absolutely right, but it's okay, we'll solve it here.
Give me a prediction on the percentage of local chapters that will reject a gay adult supervisor or volunteer. 30%, 20%?
I think more. I would go about half.
You go half.
Because remember, a huge percentage of these chapters are hosted by more conservative religious communities. That's one of the things to notice. The conservative religious
when
communities.
you imagine that in those communities, do you really think that gay men were volunteering to work with the?
Maybe they don't live there in the first
No, they're not going to let them in. And I think that'll be really interesting to notice that the number of places that actually nurture the great values of scouting also turn out to be, and here I am editorializing, behind in thinking about the place of gay people.
You're a
in the
panelist
country.
on a show where we discuss stuff all the time. That's all you're supposed to do is editorialize.
I know, but this one is so divisive, and I
here's
want
the
to
difference.
respect people's views I really don't share, and I think these churches do amazing things
Brad
hosting these
presumes
chapters.
if he says it, it's a truth fact, so it's not editorializing.
Oh, there you go.
Right?
Heather, I didn't get your
On
prediction,
this
by the
one,
way.
yes.
It was too long. I was going to talk about water guns. We'll do it another time.
What, super
Boy
soakers, or-
Is that about water
Scouts,
guns?
Boy Scouts,
Now we're going to
Boy
a
Scouts have
subject
said
I'm
no more
into.
water guns, and so there's something
We'll see.
interesting to talk about.
Really?
there.
They should
Okay.
throw him out for that.
Okay, we're going to
No water.
move on. Boy Scouts. Can't believe you had 2 more Boy Scouts. Anyway, Letterman left them laughing. We have all the highlights. Don't go anywhere.